Oh no, it's an official notice from the Maidstone Enforcement Division. What will I do? Hi, it's me again, and yeah, I got another one of the TV licence letters, because you know I like doing these letters, and I don't think I've seen this one before, which is rare for me, so thank you to whoever sent it in. I can't remember your name off the top of my head, so thank you for sending it in. If you get any letters, do send them in, so I can talk about them to help other people, because some people who've received this letter might genuinely be scared by it. So I thought what we could do today, we'll go through it together, and we'll break it down, and we'll see if it's something we actually need to be concerned about or not. But it's quite a scary one. Look at the headline, look. Official notice from Maidstone Enforcement Division in capital letters. Please read carefully. You are in breach of the Communications Act 2003 if you watch or record live TV programmes on any channel or device, or download or watch BBC programmes on iPlayer, and then add their address. Obviously, remove the address bit. So, an official notice, please read carefully. So, it's not overly scary, and to be fair to them, unlike many TV licence letters, they started off almost fair, because look, at the top, it says, watch or record live TV programmes on any channel device, download or watch BBC programmes on iPlayer. Yeah, if you do either of those things, you do need a television licence. But if you don't do either of those things, you don't need a licence. So it could say there, I would like to see it say there, look, if you don't do these things, you don't require a television licence, and thus, you can ignore this letter. But they're not going to say that. They're not going to say that because look at, they've given us a status at the top of the letter. Look, in red letters. Status, under investigation. Oh no, we're under investigation for something we may not need. But they haven't asked whether we need one or not. So how do they know? They're just assuming we need a television licence. You don't have a telly licence. You must need a telly licence. Everybody needs a telly licence. No. What else does it say? As we still have no record of a TV licence at this address, by law we have no option but to continue with our investigation. You should now expect a visit from Maidstone enforcement officers. Does that not sound like a lie to you? Because by law, you don't have to have a television licence. You only need one if you watch or record anything that's been broadcast or access BBC iPlayer. If you don't do those things, like myself, you don't require a telly licence. And I haven't had one nigh on 10 years now. And many people out there, 20, 30 years, or their whole life haven't paid the TV licence fee. And have no problems. Because if you stick by the rules, there's no problems. So how can they, by law, have to investigate us? How do you know we're not doing anything wrong? Why are you assuming we're doing something wrong and trying to scare us by your investigation? Yeah, sorry, bit of a jump cut there. My phone rang, I had to take it. Soz. So yeah, they're just assuming you must have a television licence. They're assuming guilt. They're assuming you're doing something wrong by not having one. It's not right, is it? If enforcement officers find evidence of illegal TV viewing, you could be interviewed under caution in accordance with national criminal law, which could lead to prosecution. The maximum penalty is a criminal conviction, £1,000 fine plus any legal costs and/or compensation you may be ordered to pay. They put the bit about being interviewed under caution in there to scare you, to make them sound, because they call themselves enforcement officers. They want to sound like there's something special, something important, like police officers or bailiffs. They're neither of those things. They have no powers at all. It says so on the TV licensing website. They need to change their name to door-to-door salesman, and you must treat them as door-to-door salesmen. That's what they are. They can't investigate anything. They're not enforcement officers. And to be interviewed under caution in accordance with national criminal law, as far as I'm aware, anyone can interview anybody under caution in accordance with national criminal law. But they put it in there. They want you to think that they're important. That's why they call themselves enforcement officers. And the maximum penalty, granted, yes, it is £1,000, the maximum penalty. What they're not telling you is how rarely that's given out. The average fine, 150, 160 quid. But let's look at that, right? If enforcement officers find evidence of illegal TV viewing. Now, I never condone watching something you shouldn't be watching if you don't pay the licence fee. Okay, but how would they know if you did? There's only one way. They haven't got detector vans with those little aerials to detect what you're watching. How could they possibly detect what you're watching? Think how many ways you can access live broadcast TV on how many devices you can do that on. It's not possible for them to detect it. It's not even close to possible. The only way they know is if you tell them. They'll knock on your door and they want to keep you talking as long as possible because they know the longer you talk, the more you drop yourself in it. Or they'll ask to come in, and some people will let them in to have a look. And that's how they get into trouble. There's 50,000 prosecutions a year for TV licence offences, all of which were caused by people talking to the enforcement officers. So if you just open the door and say, "Who are you?" "I am from TV licensing," you just close the door. Say, "No thanks, mate." Close the door. You're within your rights to do so. It's your property. They're not police. They're not bailiffs. They're door-to-door salesmen. You go, "No thanks, mate." Close the door. Done. They can't do anything else. They don't have any powers to do anything else. They can't keep knocking on the door. They can't put the foot in the door. They have to toddle off, go find someone else to bother. And, I'm not condoning doing something you shouldn't be doing, but the only way they would know is if you talk to them. And even if you're playing a straight game like myself, I genuinely don't watch or record anything that's been broadcast or use iPlayer. Genuinely. But I still wouldn't talk to these people. Why? What good can come from it? I don't want any dealings with you. Go away. To stop a visit to your address, you can buy a TV licence or tell us you don't need a TV licence. Please get in touch now to stop this investigation. We can help you check if you need a licence and choose the best way to spread the cost if you need one. If you don't need a licence, we will of course stop our investigation. Don't fall for that. For a start, don't fall for that last bit. So let's have a look at this, right? So to stop the visit, we can buy a licence. Funny how that would work, right? Tell us you don't need a licence. Now, you can. You can do a thing called a no licence needed declaration, which clears it all up for 2 years and stops most of the crappy letters. And you have to renew it every 2 years. Why you have to renew it every 2 years? No idea. You just do, all right? I've done it. And I used to encourage people to do it. And if you want to do it, do it. And I say, we'll cut down on most of the silly letters. But only do it if they already have your address. Like this one is addressed to the legal occupier. They don't know who this person is at the address. And if you do the no licence needed declaration, you're giving them that information. I'm new to this address and that's why I don't do it. They don't need that information. They don't need to know it's me that lives at this address. I don't want any dealings with this company or this product. So don't tell them. But if you've had a licence in the past to your address, they know you're there. No licence needed declaration. It doesn't matter. You can do it. But the important part of the no licence needed declaration is it doesn't stop it all. So it says here, if you don't need a licence, we will of course stop our investigation. No. In the no licence needed declaration, they'll send you a letter a couple of months after having it saying 1 in 8 people declare it falsely. They actually do need a licence. So we'll probably send someone round just to double check. You're going to get a visit if you do the no licence needed declaration. I've only had 2 visits and they were when I was doing the no licence needed declaration. I'm getting loads of letters at the minute to the present occupier at this address that I live in now. I haven't had any visits yet. But when I did the no licence needed declaration, within a month of doing it, I had a visit. So I reckon it guarantees you a visit because it shows that you want to talk. You're open to chatting with them. And they can come round and try and sell you something you may not need. That's how I look at it. I can't back that up with any proof, but it just shows that you're willing to converse with them by filling out the form. And you don't have to. You don't have to. If you don't require a television licence, you don't have to tell them you don't require a television licence. But they still think it's okay to send you this garbage, this threatening garbage through the mail. I don't understand how it's okay for them to do it. I really, really don't. So to recap here, if you've got this letter and you're a bit worried by it, don't be. Now, I don't condone watching anything you shouldn't be watching. So if you don't have a television licence fee, you don't want to pay it because you can't afford it, or it's a political stance, or you just don't want to support the BBC at all. If you're not paying it, you can't watch or record anything that's being broadcast or use BBC iPlayer. As long as you don't do those things, you don't require a licence and you don't have to tell them. But you can if you want. But I don't anymore. Yeah, it's not the most threatening of the letters they've sent, but they're still using the wording in a threatening manner. They're still calling themselves enforcement officers, illegal TV viewing, interviewed under caution, maximum penalty, criminal conviction. They're still trying to scare you, even though it's not the worst letter. I've seen a lot worse than this. But it's still not right. They're assuming you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. They're assuming it. You don't have a telly licence. You must be watching TV illegally. No, I'm sorry, I'm not. And I'm not going to tell you I'm not, because I don't have to. Let me know what you think about all of this down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because that way, hopefully I'll see you in another video again soon when ta-da.